Hey, this is Professor Demersion here, and I wanted to show you how to implement a JavaScript plugin in this tutorial because it's really cool. And one of the benefits of working in the way that I've designed for you guys, in addition to learning how to work with WordPress or something like Wix, like we did at the beginning of class, the last half of class we've been talking about the combination of HTML, JavaScript, and CSS and how to use these. And one of the benefits of doing this is that then when you know how to work in this fashion, you can take advantage of all this giant user base of people that are making really super cool stuff that are kind of pushing the boundaries of what's available to you, and you can continue to modify the capabilities of your website. So I wanted to just give you, by focusing on this one example, this is how you do it for all of the same kind of things. To implement additional plugins or jQuery. And so last week, Joe found this full page JavaScript plugin. And so I'll give you this link here when in class on our eCampus site, and you basically just download this. Okay, here's more information about it here. This is GitHub. We'll learn about that tonight, and his kind of explanation of this. But I want you for right now to download that, and that'll end up in your downloads folder. And okay, I may have taken mine out already. And you're going to basically get something that looks like this, and it's going to be fullPage.js master. And I've got some additional things that I've put in here, but it gives you all the kind of parts that you're going to need. If you don't have it yet in class, there may be one of these I had to add in, and I'll show you how to get those. Basically, this is the basic. In order to use jQuery, you got to get these things, and I'll include this in a bundle. So basically, you just put your jQuery file here in the top level of this folder, just like I have here. Here's the full page CSS and full page JavaScript that he's provided, and this full page min.js. Okay, what I want us to do to start with is to go to the examples. I always like to learn from seeing an example of how something's functioning, and I think that is really helpful. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to go to this background video. That's something that you'll see in his examples. I'm going to just open that in Dreamweaver. Okay, and what we're going to work on is this really cool new feature that this guy's developed. And it's being used by all these websites like Sony and all that. So check this out. It's this this is what I want us to work on today, but what we're going to do is put your own video in here in this full page video. So this is a beautiful video that's playing. Instead of it just being like we've done so far, embedded, it's taking up the entire screen. So I'm going to show you how to do that. We're also going to look at how to create a little slideshow here with text if we want, and how we can get rid of the text. And there's this choose demo thing here that we're going to look at how to do background images. This is also what we're going to do, but customize it. We're going to learn how to customize it using plugging your images in, getting rid of this fork me on GitHub. We're going to find out what the hell that means later today. And go from there. So that's the goal for today, is to learn how to customize this stuff using these kind of cool things that people are providing for us. Okay, so here we go. This is that background video file that I just opened, and the very first thing that we're going to do, and this is always the most important stuff, is you got to always know where your folders are and where your files are. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to make a copy of this, so we know we always have this background video that's going to be his kind of template, the guy that made this stuff. I'm going to modify it and just put my last initials, my initials in here. I want to make sure it's going to that same folder, examples, but I'm just going to customize it and say AD2. I've got another AD1 in there already, but just put your initials there. And so now when we're working, we can totally play around with this and know we're not messing with this main, this kind of template one. We can even just kind of hide that template one. Now we're only working on our thing. This is just a good working practice. I know you can always go back, download the whole thing again and find it, and that's cool, but sometimes it's nice to have the template without having to go back to the web and downloading everything and blah, 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 blah. Just finding out the link and all that stuff. Okay, so let's focus here for a second. So here's the title of the page. Let's just call this, so we know ours is different from the prototype one. We'll just call it videos full screen. And here it's okay to have spaces in the text during this title part. That's fine. And then you're going to see that end up in here in just a second. When we save this, eventually that's going to take over. Now, this stuff here, this is like the meta name of the author and these keywords. We can actually get rid of that stuff, but just know that in this meta name keywords content, this is where you can drive more traffic to your site. If people start to do searches online for like videos or particular aspects of, let's say you're doing a documentary on Deal Casino, you'd want to put Deal Casino in here as the keywords, because that will help your website come up when somebody does a search. I want to point out, I'm going to switch over to code view here. I want to point out a couple things as we're looking at this site. This is the stuff that makes the engine roll, that makes the connection between this new the plugin that we've just put in. And so just like what we've established so far throughout the class, is that within the head is where you want to put your CSS, your JavaScript, and we're using these links to these style sheets that we have here. So here are the pages that are implementing the heavy lifting of our JavaScript plugin. I just want you to know where this stuff is residing and how it gets there. It's through these links that enable us to have this stuff going. And when you see this .. jQuery full page, what that's referring to is this here. So this is looking at the site, the folder, pardon me. This is the folder for that fullPageJS master. And here's examples. And this is the file we're working on right here. It's background 82. And this file that's being referenced is jQuery.fullpage.css. And that is right here. Do you see that right here? Okay, so what that .. is saying is, let me just hide this guy for right now. What this is saying is go outside of the current folder and look for jQuery fullpage.css. Whereas this link here is saying this examples is on the same level as your as this file here. So in other words, when we are looking, we should see, here's my background AD, and then just if we navigate down here, guess what? There's that CSS file. So I just wanted you to see how the difference between one folder back, what that looks like, which is right here, and then within the same folder, you just need the examples.css, just the name of the file itself. Okay? So let's shift down so we can see that even though there's a lot of CSS being linked here, there's a little bit of CSS that's on this page, and this is for us to realize that you can see the font family is Helvetica. We can change the size of the font here. This is the positioning of all of this stuff. This is stuff that you can customize when you're working on this. So it's kind of there, and like we could change the color right here for the info menu and things like that. I want to scroll down a little bit more. Here's all the kind of script links for the jQuery. So jQuery is something that we need to have as part of this to help make the library work. And then this UI is a user interface aspect of jQuery. These are all kind of cool things that people have written for us that we don't have to go write the code ourselves. We can use these things that people have done to help make kind of smooth interactions like that fold down menu, for instance, that was in the bottom right hand corner. Okay, so we'll get to more of that stuff in just a sec. And then this is actually the key script here that you could cut and paste into another site, and that's the one that this is handling the video stuff. And this is when you know you're in jQuery, when you start to see these dollar signs there. But for right now, this is, as you know, for the body of the page. Here we go. You can kind of separate this. Now let's just kind of focus on the body. The body is the stuff that you know is just going to be the things that are going to be showing up in the visual world of the web, right? So when we're looking here, the key thing that I'm looking for as I was problem solving, trying to figure out how does this thing work, is I was looking for how is this this example referencing the video files, because I want to put my videos in there, right? And so here we're looking at, it's in a folder called images, and there's something called flowers.mp4. So I know that mp4 is a video file type, okay, a compression type. So now I know that's my video. Okay, cool. So now all I got to do here is just swap out the name of my video and put it in there. And now this WebM is a different kind of video type. When you're in Adobe Premiere, you want to export something as this WebM, and what they've probably done here, and the reason why this is there, is that this will help it play on all sorts of different browsers. Maybe Internet Explorer doesn't let you play MPEG-4. We can check and see. This is all sorts of stuff that I can show you where you can check what browsers play what videos. But this is like a backup. If it doesn't play the MPEG-4, it'll play the WebM. Okay, but we don't even have to worry about that for right now. In fact, let's comment that out because I don't have that file type of video just yet, but I can go make that. But for our current demo, I don't have that. So what I want you to see is this. I've provided you guys a video, and you can use this video or take any of the ones of your own, but it has to be this. It doesn't have to be, but the MPEG-4 is the way you want to compress it out. And we can go over that tonight in class. So I noticed here that there's a folder, IMGS, images. Okay, just like I was telling you throughout the semester, this last half, that a lot of people, when you start to have big websites and with lots of images, you'll have a folder for all of your images, so it's not in the top level. So here's all your pages, your HTML pages, your CSS, stuff like that. You put all your images in like a images folder, and that's what they've done here. Okay, and what I've done is I've made this video Bell for Web MPEG-4. Okay, now that's what the text I want to reference. In fact, I'm just going to be super lazy, Command-C that, and then go into here and just plug in that. Now the key thing is that has to be in this, that video has to be residing in this images folder. Okay, so I told you before, instead of using the iframe, we're going to use this super awesome HTML5 tag called the video tag. And so this time we're using this great video tag that was only available to us through this new version of HTML5 in the Skies plugin. Okay, now if we look down here, we can see this is where the text is, and I'm just going to type in my own words that this is the name of the place that we're looking at here, and we'll look at this other stuff. Let's just see if we got this going. So I'm going to go File, Preview in Browser. Let's just use Google Chrome, and we've changed that flower video now to this video that I've shot. This is a Steadicam shot in 4K, although it's really crunched down. Now you can see here I have this choose demo thing in the bottom right hand corner. Let's say I want to get rid of that. Okay, we got to figure out where that resides, because that's not what I want in my thing. And I like it's cool to know that I can get this text in there, but maybe I don't want that text. How do we customize it? Okay, I'm going to go back over to Dreamweaver and do those things. Okay, first thing I noticed here is Select ID Demos menu. Okay, and so whenever you're working in HTML, you look for the opening and closing tags and whoop, delete. Okay, so that's gone. Okay, now I'm going to take this text. Let's comment that out, and just so you may want to use add text later, and you can see where. Okay, so now that's commented out. Remember that comment type. Now let me just not do that here. What I wanted you to see is, if we want to see, I saw that's an H1 tag, and before when we were looking at the CSS that's up in here, I'm going to change this to it's white, right? So let's change that to red. So something like let's go 992222. So in this hexadecimal, the first two digits are the red, next to our green, next to our blue. Okay, and this M is a type of measurement that's based on here's an M right here. M is like the thickest letter in most fonts, and so this M is a way to kind of change the font size. It's just instead of saying pixels or percentages, they have this thing called M's that's specific to fonts, although you can use it for other things too. So I'm going to save that. Now let's go back and see. We should see a reddish font where it says Bell Labs. In fact, I don't have to preview in web. If I can just go over here now, let's just click off on that, and I'm going to go refresh, Command R. We should see. I'm working with the slowest browser here. Okay, wicked small, and now it's red. Okay, so before I got rid of that, I just wanted you to see how to modify that if you wanted to. Okay, so now I'm just going to go back down and modify this. It would take this out. Let's just say you don't want to see that. This is just another example of why it's good to be able to use comments to kind of take out parts, but then you might want to come back to it. So that's where a good place to use a comment. An additional way to use a comment. Okay, so now let's do some things here. Let's handle these slides. And so I think up in here we have the slide stuff. Or that might be in a different thing. Yeah. Okay, but the other thing to notice here as well is that the demo thing is gone. Okay, so now we've really customized that. Now if we refresh this, we're going to get rid of the text here. It's going to be it's taking forever. I'm going to shift over, but eventually we'll see no text there. Okay, so let's try to customize this a little bit further. Right now, what I want us to do is to I'll show you where those images are. I'm going to open up the other one that we were looking at earlier. It's just called backgrounds. And this is the one with the images, and I'm going to show you how to replace some of those images. I'll have to check and see. It might be in the CSS where this background image is too, but I know this is just an example of how to customize image in this full screen mode. So just like we did before, we have backgrounds HTML. Put your initials in there. I'm going to go 2 because I already have another one. You could really call it anything, but you want to make sure that you know you can get rid of the backgrounds now. So now this is just, instead of video, we're working with this backgrounds. It's full screen images. Okay, and now we can what I want us to do is start to customize here, and just like before, what I was looking, instead of looking for places where there are video, what I wanted to do is find places where there are JPEG images. And here it is, the CSS. So now I know, and it's also in this images folder. Okay, so if I plunk in a batch of images into the images folder, I can reference them myself. Okay, so I'm just going to hide this for right now. And what I've done is I've created a bunch of images here, and I've just numbered them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? So in the images folder, instead of it being BG1, I've just called it 1. They could be, you just put the name of the images you have in here. Let's say 2. And background, I'm going to call this 3. Okay? And let's shift down here and also put in images. Now you could put in 12 images. You could put in as many as you'd like. I just want you to see how this works. And we'll talk about tweaking the slider later in class tonight. But I wanted you to just get a quick sense of how you start to manipulate this stuff. Okay, so that's what I've done here. I've got this 82 thing. Let's just take a quick look and see. So this is the original. We'll go back to the original. Preview in browser, Google Chrome. The rainy day, I don't think, is helping us here. I don't think it should affect it, but because we have some of the stuff is calling out to making these queries out using the browser, this is hilarious. Basically, what's going to happen is it won't be able to show it, but it's. Let me try using Firefox just in case, but I think we're getting hampered by the bad connection that I have here. Okay, good. So this is the full screen. This is what the current template is, and we'll look at how to get rid of that text if you don't want it. And then we'll look at my version here that we just tweaked in like 2 minutes. Okay, here's my version. Yay, okay, it works. Okay, so there's the image 1 that I put in, image 2. This is also the slider here, okay, and the last image there. Nice. Okay, so now let's say I want to get rid of that text or change that text, and let's say I want to get rid of this fork me, and you know how to get rid of that. Let's go back here, and this will be the last part of the demo, and this is what I want you to do in class, is to put your images in there. I also, when I was looking at their images, I looked at these and got a sense of what's the kind of resolution, how big are they, and what's the pixel resolution that I wanted to use for that. And just to get an approximate, mine are a little bit smaller, but I wanted to get a sense of how big those were. Okay, and here's the flowers MPEG-4, by the way. So here we go. Let's go back and look at the semantic parts. So I'm in 82. You can get rid of this right now. You can get rid of, this is the menu, that option menu. That's something that you may want to study if you want to use one of those at some point in time. You can just steal that, put all your own text in there. And this is the kind of power. Here's the GitHub link. I'm seeing that. And just like, this is what I want you to be able to do, is to be able to kind of customize things. Now this Twitter aspect of it, I'd like to keep that. So, but what you can do, of course, is you want to put your own Twitter information in there. But you can keep that, and so use that as something that if you want to add your own Twitter link like that, you can work with that. Okay, so let's just say I want to get rid of the text here. You just go in and swipe out and delete that. Same thing here. But know that if you wanted to customize, like tell a story, that you could manipulate. If you go to the H2 tags, you could go like this: Command C, Command V, change that to H2, and then make it smaller, and let's say 4Ms, and then you could change the font family here to like a Google font like we did last week. You can change the color here to be blue, and go from there. So what I want you to see is then what you do is you just give this an H2 tag here as part of your those things that instead of that being H1, you could say H2. Okay. So just these are all ways that you can customize this to make the experience the way that you want. I'm just going to get rid of all this text. But do you see this one thing here? This is how they did that break, is how they did that text on the second, like lower than the other one. Okay? Okay, and know that you can always go back if you want one. So now what we're going to see is something without the demo. It will have the Twitter, it won't have the fork, and we've eliminated all the text. Okay. In fact, oh, let's not show it. I think the one that was working for us was in Firefox. So I'm going to just go refresh here, and that should eliminate. There we go. This thing is just killing me today. Let's get rid of this one. So we have the tweet is still there. The GitHub is not. I don't know what's happened here. It looks like I may have accidentally taken something more off or than I initially anticipated, but we'll go back and check that. But it should be everything just like we looked for there, without the text in it. Okay, so that ends so this is the key idea. That the big picture is this is how you implement plugins, making sure that you have all of the correct files within your all of these things have to be within your folder here, like this. So you want to make sure you have all of your JavaScript and CSS in the proper places. And once you have that, everything that you need, whether it's a jQuery library, you can go grab these online, plunk it into the right places here within the infrastructure of your folders, and you're good to go. And then you customize it based on all the other knowledge that you have.